So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. And today, it's all about Mars. Mars, also known as the red planet, right? And I think I got some of my early introductions to Mars from like stuff like Total Recall. Y'all remember the back in the day Total Recall? That's where I got like some of my stuff. I was like, yo, what is going on? You know what I mean? Probably not the best reference to use for it, but hey, I gotta be honest, that's where it came from. But we're gonna check out what scientists discovered on Mars that shocked the world, all right? So if you're new to the channel, man, hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying it, leave a like, man, all that good stuff. And let's get to it.
Obvious by now that all our billionaires will be living on Mars pretty soon.
Man, you are really bouncing.
While the rest of us try and figure out how to survive the climate apocalypse down here on boring old Earth. But before they go, scientists have been checking out Mars to make sure it's 100% billionaire friendly, and they've been uncovering some weird stuff that might make Jeff and Elon think twice. From the literal face to the alien butt, here's the 19 strangest things spotted on Mars. Number 20. Face on Mars. In 1976, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter flew close to Mars and captured this now iconic photograph of the planet's surface. The face-like structure in the upper middle of the image piqued everyone's interest. It even has the appearance of a young Elvis Presley. It's easy to understand how some people
Yeah, I gotta stop that, man. Y'all gotta stop that with that. Seriously, bro. Even resembles Elvis. Why did everybody always use like Elvis? It resembles Elvis. Man, I saw Elvis. Bro, chill.
Took the face for a monument erected by aliens on Mars. People thought they saw the likeness of a human face rising from the dust on Mars in one of the earliest photos returned from the red planet more than 30 years ago. Viking 1, the first spacecraft to safely fly to and land on Mars, took the shot. The photograph prompted headlines such as "Monkey Face on Mars" in the tabloids and publications such as Richard Hoagland's The Monuments of Mars. People were fascinated with the neighboring planet and potentially life there after seeing the face on Mars. As it was dubbed, people mistakenly believed it was an indication of advanced alien life, according to Smithsonian geologist John Grant of the Center for Earth and Planetary Studies. Scientists thought the image was of an eroded rock structure, most likely a mesa, when they first saw it. The face on Mars is a trick of the eye visible when light strikes the mesa at a specific angle, according to high-resolution pictures obtained in 1998 and 2001. Different portions of the planet's surface are more resistant to erosion and do not erode as rapidly as others, resulting in some places being higher and others being lower. This technique generates a relief, which then creates the shadow, giving it the appearance of a face at times.
So it's kind of like pareidolia in a sense, is what I'm getting. You know what I mean? Like that's what it seems like to me.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Time for the rare topic. Here's an image that shocked the world a few years back. The Mars rover seems to have captured a shot of what looks like a group of horses running across the surface of Mars, but weird horses with just bodies and heads. Many scientists at the time freaked out and claimed that Mars was covered in these crazy horses running everywhere, but a lot of people said they were just making it up for publicity. Would a scientist ever tell lies just for the fame and money? What do you think these creatures are? What scientists
I don't think y'all want me to answer that question.
discovered on Mars shocked the whole world, and I mean for real. As always, comment down below with the hashtag #RareTopic, and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 19. Perseverance rover capture cryptic alien butt rock pattern on red planet Mars. Despite the fact that NASA's Perseverance rover is on Mars to do serious study, the crew has some fun with some of the odd rocks it has uncovered since landing. The newest strange entry is Buttcrack Rock, as software engineer Kevin Gill, a data wrangler at NASA JPL, dubbed it. Gill has a long history of retouching images of Mars for the enjoyment of space fans. He saw a magnificent rock shot by the rover on April 15th. Why does Mars, on the other hand, have...
No, ladies, we don't ever mature all the way. You know what I'm saying? We don't. We don't. Like, if you want to know what we doing at work, sometimes we're capturing pictures and naming stuff but rock. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand. You got to understand that's just who we are. We never fully quite mature in life. I know I haven't.
Of a red butt. The color of the red planet is due to the presence of iron oxide in its regolith, or surface material, which is the same component that gives blood and rust their color. But why is there so much iron on Mars? Why is it oxidized? And why does iron oxide appear red? All of this began 4.5 billion years ago. Many of the planets in the solar system collided with a sprinkling of iron. The heavy element whirled around in the cloud of gas and dust that gravitationally compressed to form the sun and planets forged in the core of long-dead stars. When Earth was young and molten, the majority of its iron sunk to its core, but NASA scientists believe Mars's smaller size and lower gravity enabled it to remain less differentiated. It has an iron core, but it also has a lot of iron in its top layers. Iron in its purest form appears to be gleaming black. When the element is exposed to oxygen, it takes on a reddish hue. Number 18. Mars South Pole, Angel, and Heart. Summer has arrived at Mars' South Pole, and the angels and demons have come out in force. They're both visible in a beautiful new photograph captured by the European Space Agency of the freshly melted pole. It should be noted that the devils are composed of dust. Dust devils developed on Mars when a pocket of warm air rises quickly through a column of chilly air, generating a whirling updraft just as they do on Earth. But unlike on Earth, these dusty cyclones may reach a height of 6 miles. In the dark region to the far left of this picture, you can see the tracks of one such cyclone. What about the angel? We'll have to go to the stars for an explanation. Close examination of the halo surrounding the angel's head reveals the steep sloping walls of an impact crater. This ethereal structure, according to the ESA, is the result of a meteorite collision that bored deep into the red planet's crust, creating a crater and revealing layers of ancient sediment underneath. Those ancient layers take on a rich crimson color and can be seen all over the angel's body, as well as the heart-shaped structure beneath its right wing in this photograph. Scientists are unsure what this reddish substance is comprised of. According to the ESA, these odd black deposits may be found all across Mars and are considered to be the consequence of past volcanic activity long buried beneath the Martian crust. Erosion, asteroid strikes, and searing winds have all contributed to the appearance of these enigmatic red scars. Number 17. Iridescent mother-of-pearl clouds on Mars. These gleaming, vibrant clouds did really emerge on Mars. The Curiosity rover from NASA not only observes the local geology, but it also records what is happening in the sky. On March 5th, 2021, this vision of iridescent mother-of-pearl clouds was captured. If you see a cloud with a shimmery pastel set of colors in it, that's because the cloud particles are all nearly identical in size, said atmospheric scientist Mark Lemon with the Space Science Institute in Colorado. That's usually happening just after the clouds have formed and have all grown at the same rate. These iridescent or mother-of-pearl clouds were discovered by NASA's Curiosity Mars rover on March 5th, 2021, the 3048th Martian day or sol of the expedition. 5 pictures from the rover's mast camera, or mast cam, have been stitched together to create this particular panorama. A total of 23 photos were stitched together to create the entire panorama. Mastcam was reconstructed and is operated by Malin Space Science Systems in San Diego, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California, a branch of Caltech, constructed the Curiosity rover and oversees it for the agency's Science Mission Directorate in Washington. Number 16. NASA find liquid water on Mars. CO2
Now this is interesting right here.
dominates and supplies the majority of the atmospheric mass and pressure on Mars, which is noted for its thin atmosphere. In fact, the pressure is equivalent to that found in the stratosphere, a layer of the atmosphere located more than 30 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. What about water, though? Water on Mars is now found in the surface as a thick coating of ice at the North Pole, which is several kilometers thick. It also manifests as seasonal frost at the coldest seasons of the year, as well as vapor and ice in the atmosphere. Despite this, the Martian atmosphere is very dry, having roughly 100 times less water than Earth's. Water that precipitates on Mars would create a thin film of less than a millimeter thick, whereas water that precipitates on Earth forms layers several centimeters thick. A clearer understanding of why there is almost no water remaining on Mars is now possible thanks to new data. Mars was not always the frigid, dry planet we see today. According to research, water was present on Mars's surface in the distant past, some 4 billion years ago. There must have been a drastically different environment from the one we have now for liquid water to flow and stay on the surface long enough to produce these markings. Mars, Earth, and Venus are thought to have originated from the slow buildup of the same fundamental elements, implying that they shared a lot of commonalities early on. However, whereas Earth and Venus have kept much of their thick atmospheres, Mars has lost most of its atmosphere due to its diminutive size and low gravity. Number 15.
And that was always my question. Are we headed towards that route that Mars went on? Like, will we someday be like that? I've always had that kind of question when you think about it, because you always heard about the dryness of Mars. So I was like, damn, will Earth eventually get like that? Is that where we're heading? So I still have those questions though.
NASA's Curiosity Mars rover finds a changing landscape. As NASA's Curiosity rover climbs Mount Sharp, a 8-kilometer tall summit within the 154-kilometer wide basin of Mars' Gale crater, scientists are enthralled by images of knobbly rocks and rounded slopes. In a panorama taken on July 3, 2021, the rover's mast camera, or mast cam, reveals such characteristics. This position is particularly exciting. Curiosity is currently halfway between an area rich in clay minerals and one dominated by salty minerals called sulfates, according to spacecraft orbiting Mars. The strata of the rock in this location may indicate how Gale crater's original ecosystem dried up over time. Similar changes may be found all across the globe, and researching this region in detail has been a long-term mission aim. The rocks here will begin to tell us how this once wet planet changed into the dry Mars of today, and how long habitable environments persisted even after that happened, said Abigail Freeman, Curiosity's deputy project scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. The rover uses a drill on its robot.
That rover needs like his own YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? It may have one and I don't even know about it. I might need to look that up, but I would definitely sit and just watch the feed. If it had like a live feed, if it could do that, I would sit and watch that for real.
Arm to pulverize rock samples, which it then sprinkles into the rover's chassis, where a pair of sensors identify which compounds and minerals are present. Curiosity just took its 30-second rock sample from the target, known as pontours, which will help scientists understand how clay minerals convert to sulfates. Number 13. NASA Mars rover spots Mr. Peanut lookalike on the Mars surface. The top-hatted peanut mascot from Planters appears to be making an appearance in certain pits on Mars. There are no mushrooms on Mars, and neither are there any peanuts. However, as viewed from orbit, the south polar structure resembles the Planters' Mr. Peanut mascot. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter of NASA captured an image of an unusual group of circular forms on the red planet's surface. The University of Arizona high-rise camera team in charge of dealing with MRO pictures dubbed the photograph Mr. Peanut and tweeted it as a picture of the day. Sometimes the strange landscape produces something that looks familiar, like the mascot of a certain peanut company, the high-rise team said. Perhaps we're seeing the birth of Baby Nut with the additional bubble off to the left. Planters notoriously killed off their longtime mascot in 2020, only to have later revived the anthropomorphic bean as a baby called Baby Nut. Number 12. Dust Devil Tracks. Although Mars has a reputation for being a barren planet, it is far from dead. Its somewhat thin atmosphere is still capable of causing a storm, and as this image shows, sending hundreds if not thousands of dust devils scurrying across the surface. The top layer of surface material is scoured away and transported elsewhere by these whirling columns of wind. The streaks they leave behind, the freshly exposed surface material, which is tinted in blue/gray, in this recent image from the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter's chassis sensor, map their path. Dust devils occur on Mars in the same manner they do on Earth. As the Earth heats up faster than the air above it, rising plumes of hot air travel through colder, denser air, generating an updraft, with the cooler air sinking and establishing vertical circulation. The dust devil is triggered when a horizontal blast of wind sweeps past. The spinning funnels may take up dust and push it over the surface if they spin quickly enough. Nothing can stop a dust devil. As seen in this image, they sweep up the slopes of mounds and down over the floors of impact craters equally. Number 11. Belly Pan on Mars. A voyage to Mars leaves an imprint. The wreckage of the landing equipment aren't the only things that end up on the surface. On Saturday, NASA's Perseverance rover dropped a piece of itself to the ground. But it was all planned. The rover was outfitted with a belly pan, a protective covering for its sampling equipment, before it arrived on Mars. Packing samples of Mars rocks and soil into tiny tubes for eventual recovery by a future expedition will be part of the rover's duty. On Saturday, NASA posted a GIF of the pan in position beneath the rover, followed by the pan sitting on the ground. Up next is to check my sampling system now that its cover panel is off, NASA stated. The photos below were captured by the rover's robotic arm. NASA also demonstrated how the ejectable belly pan works during a practice drop while the rover was still on Earth to give.
Well, they answered that question. I always wanted to know if that rover brought anything back or took any, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Us a better sense of how it operates. For a NASA rover, the sampling mechanism is a first. Samples will be collected, sealed in tubes, and left on the surface by the machine. The rover's equipment, which includes drilling tools and 43 sample containers, is stored under the rover's belly. In February, Perseverance landed on Mars. It was part of the post-landing strategy to lower the belly pan. This exposes the workspace to Martian atmosphere and makes more room for sample handling operations within that workspace, NASA explained. The belly pan will become yet another memento of human exploration on Mars. It's a good thing there aren't any fines for littering on Mars. Number 10. Happy Face Crater. On Mars, Gale is a famous crater. It's in the Arger Quadrangle, near the eastern rim of the massive impact basin, Arger Planitia. Johann Gottfried Gale, a German astronomer, was the inspiration for the name. Pareidolia causes a curving mountain range in the southern half of the crater, and two smaller mountain groups farther north to seem to resemble a smiley face, earning Gale the nickname Happy Face Crater. Viking Orbiter 1 was the first to image the formation. On January 28, 2008, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter identified a second Happy Face crater in Nerida Montes, which is smaller than Gale and situated at 45 degrees south, 55 degrees west.
Now I can't unsee it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying not to look for it, and now I can't unsee it.
West. The crater was utilized as a plot location when Dave Gibbons noticed the similarity, as the smiley face is a prominent theme in Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' comic book Watchmen. The resemblance, according to Gibbons, was almost too good to be true. I worried that if we put it in, people would never believe it. During the film version, the crater also appears in the same scene. Number 9. Thigh bone on Mars. A strange image of Mars' surface has lately emerged, coupled with the conspiracy idea that it depicts a human bone. Some individuals believe they may detect a femur among the rubble on Mars, but NASA has long disproved this idea. The shot was obtained by the mast cam on the Curiosity rover in 2014. Conspiracy theorists still use it to imply that there was once human life on Mars. This is
So why not bring that back and test it out instead of just saying it's just a theory? You know what I mean? Get it onto the rover and bring it back and test it out. That puts to me, instead of just saying, oh, it's not because of this. No, prove it's not.
Theorists still use it to imply that there was once human life on Mars. This is because to the fact that it depicts a piece of debris that resembles a human thigh bone. Previously, a NASA representative stated, seen by Mars rover Curiosity using its mast cam, this Mars rock may look like a femur thigh bone. Mission science team members think its shape is likely sculpted by erosion, either wind or water. If life ever existed on Mars, scientists expect that it would be small, simple life forms called microbes.
But that's the thing, right? And I'm not saying it's right or it is or it isn't. But let's test it out and see. We don't know what life form would have been like back then. Maybe the bones wouldn't be similar or what we would think them to be. So if there's ever any question, just let's test it out and see. Like, I don't understand that.
Mars likely never had enough oxygen in its atmosphere and elsewhere to support more complex
Okay, that could be true as well. But still, let's test it.
organisms, thus large fossils are not likely. Pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon in which people attach human resemblance to inanimate objects. This condition, according to Science Alert, causes the brain to absorb visual information too rapidly, causing people to leap to conclusions. The human bone rumor on Mars isn't the first time someone believes they've discovered life on the planet. There have also been tales of a Martian Bigfoot and Martian mushrooms. If there is life on Mars, it will most likely be bacteria rather than people, as NASA has previously said. Number 8. NASA's Mars Perseverance rover capture fish with eye shape on rock of Mars. On Mars, there is a fish-shaped rock, yet there are no actual fish. This strange structure was seen on camera by NASA's Curiosity rover, which piqued the interest of UFO and extraterrestrial enthusiasts. The form of the rock, as well as the lighting at the time of the shot, combined to give it a fishy appearance. In response to the potential finding preserved bones and creatures on Mars, NASA has issued the following statement. Mars likely never had enough oxygen in its atmosphere and elsewhere to support more complex organisms, thus large fossils are not likely. Mars previously had an ocean larger than the Arctic Ocean on Earth, but don't let that fool you into thinking a fish-shaped rock discovered on the Red Planet is a relic of ancient aquatic life. NASA published a raw picture from the Curiosity rover's left navigation camera on the internet. If you look closely, you'll notice an item in the bottom center of the image that resembles something you'd see swimming in a lake. The design of the rock and the lighting combined to
Don't get me wrong, it does. It does.
create a unique fish shape with a finned tail and an upturned nose. On Thursday, UFO Sightings Daily, a famous site that follows strange formations on Mars and clouds that resemble flying saucers, reported on the strange discovery. Number 7. Jelly Donut. NASA has discovered the origins of the enigmatic jelly donut rock on Mars. Scientists have established that Pinnacle Island, a strange-looking Mars rock that appeared mysteriously in an image taken by the Opportunity rover, originated from a bigger chunk of a rock nearby. The bigger boulder, dubbed Stewart Island, was chipped by one of the rover's wheels as it turned around and flung a short distance to its new home. Pinnacle Island is also known as the Jelly Donut Rock due to its deep red core and white edging, which resembles the desert. According to a NASA statement recently published, the rock is roughly 1.5 inches broad and came to rest about 3 feet from the original boulder, which has similar coloration to the fractured portion. Last month, scientists were astonished when the tiny rock showed in one picture, but not in an image taken 12 days earlier. Steve Squires, the main investigator for the Opportunity rover at the time, remarked that the composition of Pinnacle Island island was unlike anything scientists had previously seen on Mars. The stone had been subjected to more scrutiny, and it revealed high levels of elements such as manganese and sulfur, according to NASA, suggesting that these water-soluble ingredients were concentrated in the rock by the action of water. Number 6. Blueberries. A geological oddity
Don't eat those, though.
was discovered just a few months after NASA's Opportunity rover landed on Mars in 2004. Small iron-rich spheres strewn throughout the rock surface near the robot's landing site. The mission's snack-loving scientists called these things blueberries, but the characteristics were simple.
Snack-loving scientists, exactly. We went from the donut to the blueberries, fam. I'm gonna need them to stop being hungry when they supposed to be working. You know what I mean? Like, everything is turning into food-related stuff. It's crazy.
Simpler to name than to comprehend. Their formula is still a bit of a mystery. Studying similar-looking spherical structures on Earth has long been a part of trying to figure out where these blueberries came from. The chemistry that may have gone into churning up these Martian blueberries may have been inspired by these terrestrial analogs, according to new study. As a result, this research contributes to the understanding of what ancient Mars could have looked like. The blueberries are intriguing not just because of their funny name, but also because they were some of the earliest evidence that Mars was once quite wet. No matter what the exact chemistry of these spherules was to start, the fact that they're there tells us that a lot of liquid water moved through these rocks over time. Brianne Horgan, a planetary scientist at Purdue University in Indiana, said. Number 5. A tadpole on Mars. On Mars, there's a tadpole. NASA is having a good time explaining a strange crater discovered by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. In this video, we've seen everything from a donut-shaped rock to face-like structures on Mars, but a larval stage frog is a first. NASA has released a bizarre image of a crater and valley on Mars obtained by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that resembles a tadpole. The unique form was created by water cutting out a valley as liquid poured out of the crater, according to NASA. We can infer that water is flowing outward because we have the necessary terrain height information. The space agency adds, scientists have discovered evidence that the now dry planet had a wetter history. When it comes to describing objects seen outside our globe, NASA isn't immune to the occasional stretch of the imagination. The agency compared a sequence of squiggly lines carved on Mars to scratch marks and defined circular formations seen on Mars as blueberries, as we've just seen.
So with them saying that it could have been wetter than we imagined on Mars, you can't really, I don't think you can rule out the possibility of once having maybe some form of fish. Just look at some of the things we've discovered recently in the ocean, some of the things we've seen. Is it hard to believe that some of that would have been on Mars as well? I don't think so. Now, does it mean it doesn't necessarily have to be 100, but the possibility? Absolutely.
Seen. The MRO image of the Mars crater and its tail-like valley is aptly named Tadpole. Let's hope it doesn't turn into a colossal space frog. Number 4. Spherical object spotted by NASA's Curiosity rover and suggested it was a cannonball. In this Curiosity image, a magnificent round shape lies on the dusty surface of Mars. The images were taken by the rover in late 2016 and early 2017, but
that would have me curious because of the smoothness of it. Like, look at everything else around it. It's rough, rigid. You know what I mean? It has the color to resemble everything else on the planet. But this odd, smooth shape, round sphere, look, like, that definitely would it would enhance my curiosity, man. I need to break that up. I need to see what that is. He needs to bring that back here.
Recently gained new attention thanks to an article on the popular alien theory blog UFO Sightings Daily, which describes the spherical form as a cannonball the size of a baseball and claims it's evidence of a battle on Mars. According to NASA, the sphere has a diameter of less than 5 millimeters and is comprised of calcium sulfate, salt, and magnesium. If we ever found a genuine cannonball on Mars, it would cast doubt on all we know about the planet's its history, that tipping point hasn't arrived just yet. This shows how spherical metamorphic rocks aren't all that uncommon on Mars, similar to the blueberries taken by NASA's Opportunity rover in 2004. For contrast, the hematite-rich spheres are about the size of BB pellets. Due to erosion over time, the blueberries became visible. Seeing strange things on Mars has been a fascinating hobby since 1976, when NASA's Viking 1 mission revealed a face on Mars that the space agency maintains is just a regular old mesa. Since then, we've seen anything from a spoon to an ancient god. This is all a lot of fun, but as the non-cannonball illustrates, everything so far has a scientific explanation. Number 3. NASA's Curiosity rover found a weird metal rock on Mars. The Curiosity rover from NASA may have discovered a third meteorite on Mars. This photograph, obtained on January 12th, when the rover was exploring Mount Sharp, purports to reveal an iron-nickel meteorite, one of just a few found on Mars. Curiosity seemed to have already taken a closer look at the strange rock. According to Universe Today, the 3 small bright spots near the center of the rock are likely pits from Curiosity's ChemCam laser, which uses a spectrometer to assess the composition of rocks. If the ChemCam data reveal that it's primarily comprised of iron, it's a meteorite produced from an asteroid's core. That would make it one of several. The Opportunity rover detected 5, and the Spirit rover photographed 2 possible meteorites. Surprisingly, all of them were formed of iron, despite the fact that 95% of meteorites on Earth are stony. This might be owing to variations in how the Martian and terrestrial environments degrade rocky and metallic meteorites, or it could simply be due to Mars's rugged landscape making it more difficult to pick out a single rock. Looking at this possible meteorite, it's difficult to tell anything about it. This one appears to be quite smooth and glossy, which might indicate that it fell recently and just hasn't been degraded significantly. However, Mars lacks the oxygen and water that would wear away the smooth surface of the meteorite on Earth, allowing us to estimate the time since it fell. Perhaps it isn't.
Or we might not be the only people landing or only things landing rovers there to research Mars. You ever thought about that? It's funny to me that we always think we're the only one.
Brand new, but has been lying on Mars for a long time, polished by the planet's massive dust storms.
That could have been a piece left over from someone else's rover, or something else's rover.
2. Ancient city ruins discovered on the surface of Mars. Mars has always piqued our interest with its secrets. In many respects, it resembles Earth, and experts think that it was once very similar to our planet, with an atmosphere.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Lakes, rivers, and seas covering its surface. According to recent findings, Mars was warmer and wetter before it was devastated by electromagnetic radiation, and it was seemingly ideal for life to evolve. NASA had previously disclosed that Mars had an atmosphere capable of supporting life, but that it had.
See, and that's why I still continue to have that question. Will Earth continue, or not continue, will we follow in Mars's footsteps? That's what I'm asking, because you hear the similarities, you see certain things, and you hear certain things being said, and you can't help but look at this planet and say, was it similar? Which means, are we headed that way?
Previously disclosed that Mars had an atmosphere capable of supporting life, but that it had been destroyed. There is no indication of a structured global magnetic field on this red planet, but studies reveal that portions of its crust have become magnetized. The increase in methane measurements are another thing on this planet that has perplexed experts. Living creatures are responsible for 90% of the methane produced on Earth. Curiosity rover discovered signs of methane on Mars, leading scientists to speculate about life on the planet's surface. However, many experts believe that the red planet may have sustained life in the past, not only basic but evolved life forms as well. Number 1. Floating spoon on Mars. The internet is buzzing over a floating spoon on Mars discovered by NASA's Curiosity rover, but it's actually a fascinating rock structure carved over time by Martian winds, according to NASA experts. Curiosity snapped the strange, spoon-shaped rock recently on the rover's 1098th day on Mars, and word of the rock spread quickly online in the days that followed. A handle form juts out from an outcrop in the Curiosity picture and terminates in a round tip, similar to a spoon. It even creates a spoon-shaped shadow on the ground underneath it, but according to NASA, the spoon isn't a relic from a Martian campground or kitchen. It's an oddly formed rock like earlier sightings on Mars. There is no spoon. This weird Mars feature is likely a ventifact, a rock shaped by wind, NASA officials wrote in an image description, but that's just what they say. I say this belongs to an ancient supergiant who really enjoyed eating soup. Do you think that Mars once had an ancient civilization that built cities and went to war? Will our planet...
That's a good question. Do y'all think so? I just think, man, with the information that we've received from the rover could indicate that it did possibly have life on Mars at some point. The water being there, certain things that we're finding out and discovering, seeing. And I just think, our planet could be what Mars was similar or kind of like, which has me on the flip side saying, are we headed towards that? Now, will we see that in our lifetime? Probably not. More than likely not. But it still poses the question, of what could be, and that's always the question, what was and what could be, thinking about certain things. So, but I enjoy this type of stuff, man. It makes you think. You get to see certain things that, otherwise you wouldn't. And it's always fascinating to me, these scientific discoveries. So I enjoy it. So appreciate y'all for kicking with me while I geek out a little bit. You know what I mean? I like that. I don't mind. I geek out. I like that. So, but get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Until next one, I'm gone. Peace.